The way that we planned this church to be was that the ministry would be done by the community, that the people would be the ones who would be doing the ministry, that we would hire people to organize, to administrate, to plan, and then to release people to do the work of the ministry. That's why when you walk into our kids wing and you see the teachers in there, they're all volunteers. You know, Bobby's in charge of organizing it and creating the vision for it and communicating it to people. She basically exists to make volunteers' lives awesome. She wants to make sure that when you show up, you have the most amazing time teaching children and using your gifts. She takes all the hard part of it and she gets rid of the hard part of it. The organization, the decision on what we're going to do, the planning up for it, and she just puts the person with the gift of working with the kids and teaching them into the position where they can do what they have been called to do. Our staff exists to release volunteers to do the ministry. We 100% believe in what Paul also said. I'm going to go ahead to Ephesians chapter 4, so I think it's the next verse or next slide here. We believe that this concept, which is biblical, right, which Paul talks about, is so core to what we do. We don't have a professional class of Christians. We're not going to hire somebody to do everything in the church. Our stuff's going to get accomplished by us as a community. Our staff is going to make our lives easier as we serve. This is what Paul says in Ephesians chapter 4. So Christ himself, he gave apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers. So he gave different types of leaders to the church. Why did he give them to them? Why did he give us apostles and prophets and evangelists and pastors and teachers? Why did he give me to this church? Why did he give Megan to this church? Why did he give Aaron to this church or Bobby to this church? Why did he do that? Why did he do that? Right? Why did he give Lauren to this church? Lauren's doing a great job. Lauren, you're awesome. Yeah. So no one agreed with me. It's just me. Sorry, Lauren. Just me and Debbie. Verse 12. Look at why did he give us these people? To equip his people for works of service. We exist to make sure that the body is connected and using their gifts to serve the church. Why are we transparent at this church? Because the church is the people. We need to communicate in a way that is as clear and concise and as easy to understand, to let you guys into the process, to make sure the decision-making power is in your hands, to protect the church from evil pastors, which is a thing that we've all seen more and more and more of, right? We need to make sure that we have all those protections in place, and that's what our governance documents did for us. It transferred the power to the hands of the people, and we said we're going to have leaders at the top here. We're going to have a DLT team, which is our directional leadership team, which is our highest level of leadership. Our buck stops with this board kind of people, and they're here to serve the church. They're here to shepherd the church. They're here to be the people that make the decision to protect the church. And the staff is here to implement that vision. And the church is the one that gets to make those decisions and do the work of the ministry. And I know you probably weren't thinking about having a philosophical conversation about church as you walked in this morning, but that's what a healthy church looks like. It is not consolidated power in one position. It is not worshiping the lead pastor. It is not a professional group of Christians. That is not a church. That's a building or a program or an organization that is designed to just chug along, but that has major weaknesses that hurt people significantly. The church is meant to be the people doing the ministry together to see the mission go forward, to see the kingdom built, and you are the people. Our job is to equip you. Our job is to serve you. It's to pastor you. It's to shepherd you. And I want to make sure that that's clear, because that is a core piece of why we started this church and what we're doing here. This is below all of our values and our mission statement and, the logos and, there's a lot of things we do great here. But below all of that is this desire to see the actual community be the ones that do the ministry, and to see the staff be the ones that equip the church to do the work that we're called to do. It's more sustainable. It's less likely to hurt people. It's a more healthy way to move forward. And we have gotten so far away from this that this is one of those things that makes us different than all the churches around here. I don't know if this is a core philosophy for most churches. So I'm going to continue. So he says, to equip his people for works of service. That's why all those pastors, apostles, teachers, why all those people exist, to equip people. So that, why? Why are we doing this? Why are the people doing the works of service? Why is the staff here to equip the people to do the works of service? So that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach what? Say it out loud. Come on, say it out loud.
Unity in the faith.
Yeah, because that's what we're going for. Something we don't see in our culture anywhere else. What we want is a unified body. When we're inviting people into membership now through this process, I know a lot of people are like, why would I want to be a member? You know, and it's funny to talk about because when we think about membership, we think about Costco or Sam's Club. I've made the joke now 6 times. I'll make it again. We think of membership, we think of cheap gas and bulk meat costs. It's not a good joke, apparently. You know, we think, what is this membership going to do for me? Right? That's what we think of. What are the benefits I get? Why do I pay for this gym membership? Why do I pay for this Costco membership? Because I get stuff. And I make the joke that, you know, if you become a member of this church, you get a better parking spot, discount on your tithe, you get a preferred seat, we'll put your name on it, you know, like, no, that's not what covenant membership looks like. When we talk about membership, we're saying, hey, you want to be all in as part of this body? You know what's really disconcerting or creepy or just really weird is when, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like this. I was trying to think if I'd ever been in a place where I had seen this or whatever, maybe a movie. Like if you ever just see a body part laying there not connected to anything, is we think of. Like, hey, I was out for a walk with a dog, you know, and he was sniffing around something, and there's just someone's hand there. I mean, you would immediately call the police. Something is awful and wrong, right? Someone's hand should not be sitting in the grass on your walk where you're, like a dismembered part of a body is one of the worst things that you can possibly see. Okay? Yeah, that's kind of true. And yet we have churches all over the place where there are dismembered parts of the body laying all over the place. And we're just trying to collect all the parts and say, hey, welcome into this thing. Why don't you join with the other members of the church who are connected and unified? And membership is not about the benefits that you get when you're part of a church. It's actually about what you will be giving to the rest of the community around you. It's much more about how we will be able to accomplish the mission that we've been given because we're more connected and unified. And I know that Gen Z and, you know, if I'm speaking directly, and millennials for sure, like there is statistical proof that you are more leery of organizations than other groups that have come before you. And I just want to say, like, those organizations have earned that distrust. I don't think there's something weird about you. I think you're honest. And what I'm saying is, unity is the thing that we're trying to rally around to be able to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. And this is the thing that God has called us to. And this is the thing that's underneath all of this. And for me, transparency is the thing that creates that trust and makes sure that that unity stays intact. That when we speak openly about things, when we communicate directly about things, when we let people into the inner workings of what's going on around here, when we ask them to do big parts of the ministry here as a volunteer, we're being as transparent as possible and inviting them in. I say it all the time, don't put me on a pedestal. I'm not perfect. Our staff is not perfect. None of us deserve to be up on a professional Christian's, you know, a pedestal that people want to put us on. We're normal people. You know, you might look at online profiles and be like, what a beautiful family. You know, all these pictures of your family look great. Like, but you don't see it when I yell at my kids. You know, you're not there when I yell at my kids. You're not there when, you know, like one of us has trouble, when we do doubt, when we have issues, right? You don't see us. We're real people just like you. So until we all reach unity in the faith and the knowledge of Son of God and become, what? Mature. So we're actually going towards discipleship, towards maturity, towards challenging one another to grow, not being stagnant, not standing still. And, you know, this is the thing. Like, if you're a disconnected part of the body, if you're a dismembered member, you're not receiving the life blood that comes through being part of that body. That spirit that connects us all is not connected to those dismembered pieces as well as it is when they're part of the body. Like when I talk to people who are like taking apart their faith and sort of going through this process of like challenging all of it and, questioning it, I don't think that's a bad process. I think that's sometimes really good. And to be honest with yourself and to really challenge the things that you believe, that's probably really good. But to disconnect yourself from a church during that time is to say, I'm now going to take the lifeblood that comes through being part of this community out of my life, and then I'm going to be disconnected from it. And nothing grows if it's not connected, right? Nothing continues to mature if it doesn't have that blood flowing through the veins. So he says, until we attain the whole measure of the fullness of Christ, then we will no longer be infants tossed back and forth by the waves, blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by cunning and craftiness of people and their deceitful scheming. That's the cool part about where our church is right now. We are a baby that has started to roll over, started to get up on our all fours, started to look at things that are beyond, it's kind of vision, and we're starting to think about getting up and holding on to something and stumbling across the room. That's what our church is. We're 4 years old. We accomplished everything we want in 4 years. No, we have accomplished what we could, and we've survived COVID during those 4 years. Right? We are a baby who's getting up on its feet, ready to start toddling across the room. Our best day is way ahead of us. The quicker that will happen. And I don't want to manufacture this. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to sign up more people to, become members. In fact, we're going towards a very healthy number. We're closing in on 100 members right now that have taken the class, that seem to be interested. We'll see what happens on August 28th. By the way, if you're somebody who won't be here August 28th, you're going to be out of town or whatever, you can still do it online. We have a digital option for those people that are in, away. Like Marty's going to visit her grandmother whose, health is struggling right now. She's not going to be here for our very first annual meeting, which is going to be a bummer. But that's what we had to do as a family. She'll be online. She'll be able to make her, choices online. She's able to do that from where she's going to be. If you're going to be traveling or whatever, we can make that happen. But the idea here is that the closer we get towards this governance taking root and becoming the protection that we need it to be and organizing the leadership the way we need to organize it and having these things in place to protect this church, the even better we're going to be able to toddle across the room and walk and accomplish our mission and be unified and see these things happen. And that's the moment we're at as a church. Like, I don't think I could be any more excited about what God is doing, because I do think there's so much more just on the horizon. Just over that hill, over to the next thing. Once we get through this piece of it and we start to be completely normal as a society. I know there's already a new thing the other day. I don't know if I should be joking about this, but I'm so weary and leery of new viruses that all we can do is joke sometimes. And Macy was like, yeah, there's a new virus. It's called monkeypox. And Miles, I was just so proud of him. Is he here right now? He might have. He's like, yeah, monkeypox is terrible. You just grow hair and then you run into the woods. And he's like, and you just start swinging from vines and you start eating bananas like crazy. He's like, it's really bad. I heard Trump got it. And Macy's like, I don't want that. I had to be like, yeah, that's not true. It's a beautiful place where we're at. And I want you to know that transparency and unity are things that are below, that are foundational, even to our vision and our mission and our values. They're things that I value, that we value as we started the church, because we'd been through situations where we'd seen churches get out of control and do harm. I want to finish this passage. So you'll no longer be infants tossed back and forth by the waves, blown here and there in every wind of teaching, by the cunning and craftiness of people and their deceitful scheming. Instead, speaking the truth in love, which is both transparent as you can get. Speaking the truth in love is the most transparent that you can be. Having the hard conversation and going the last 10% in a conversation is what it looks like to be fully transparent. To lean into those hard conversations and to speak the truth in love when it needs to be, and it's like one of these things where Jesus came, in John chapter 1, it says that Jesus came full of grace and full of truth. Your deeds, which are absolutely